violence lately. Men, boys on girls. There has been the interesting, very sensitive issues we've been reading in newspapers where men are just killing women so atrociously. And it comes from a rejection space. I do tend to think there are mental issues that may be going on with things like that. What is the man processing by the time he's driving halfway across Kenya to go and commit a crime like that? Would you want to care to address that space with men and how we get there? How do we get there where we are able to do stuff like that without even thinking about it?
Yeah, I mean, Pastor Musembi, that's such a sad situation because when you look at the extremes of mental health, two things happen: suicide and homicide.
Suicide and homicide.
Yeah. So what you're dealing with is depression or mental unwellness starts off with maybe slight irritability. If your disposition is in that way, it can go to anger. It can move to violence. So you have, violence in different forms against men, against women, and then it can move to homicide or suicide, as I've said.
Yes.
So suicide is actually a very aggressive event.
Yes.
If you think about it.
It is.
And men do quite violent suicides, like hanging. It's very violent if you think about it. And it's the same thing when they go the other extreme. To homicide.
Yes.
So these acts of violence take on very gruesome states. And that's why if this is the time we really need to be discussing this, because it's spilling out. You're having situations where women are being battered. In the old days, it would be in secret. Now it's coming out in the public. And this is due to us not addressing this thing called mental health issues. So, there's a program in London. I think I've forgotten the name, but basically it's a program that I used to refer men who have anger issues. It was an anger issue program. And when you got to the heart of it, it was mental health. It was anxiety, it was depression. That they felt, I can't control this, therefore I'm going to lash out. And normally it's the nearest and dearest. So we know the statistic that women are more likely to be killed by somebody they know in their own house. And so we've never really dealt with this. So when you're looking at what's happening now, the conversation really needs to be taken seriously. We really need to start to allow, to create environments now where people start to say, okay, this person has been violent. Women need to be able to feel they can step up and say, look, I'm in an abusive relationship. The chances are I could get killed the next time. Or so that they can actually say, look, you need help, and you need to see somebody, you need to talk to somebody about this. Normally they'll keep quiet. So when you see what's been happening in Kenya, Nairobi right now, it's very, very sad because the act, I couldn't even finish reading the article. The first time I saw it, I said, oh, this is really sickening.
Yes.
And as a clinician, I'm saying that. So it means that even when, potentially you'll get worse and worse. But we need to do something about it.
Yes,
we need to talk about it. We need to get men, the whole thing of rejection. So talk about rejection. Rejection is there's two forms of rejection. Right? You can be rejected by somebody. It could be rejection that started off with childhood, so like a parent, schools. Rejection is a very painful process. And when you look at that kind of rejection, the two ways in it is you can be rejected because you did something. And you say, okay, fine, I got rejected because I did something. Or you can be rejected because you've not done anything. Either way, it's the same thing. Men need to understand that rejection is part of life.
Yes.
And that if you get rejected by a partner, then these things happen, grieve over it, right? As I said, women will have a cry. They'll talk about it. But when we can't allow ourselves to grieve, or we define ourselves by that particular individual, and that's the only way we can define ourselves, and we think, well, if you're going to reject me, then nobody else can have you, and therefore I'm going to end your life, then it means that's a very warped sense of understanding. Now, you've got mental health in different categories.
Wow. Okay.
So you've got what we call the mood disorders, and then you've got psychotic disorders. Mood disorders are normally linked to your mood. Psychotic disorders are where your behavior now has moved into the delusional realm where someone gets fixated that that person is meant to marry me. This is it. I'm stuck on that.
Yes.
Now, what happens is you can have somebody starting off in a mood disorder, and it gets so chronic and so long, it goes into
a psychotic disorder.
So then, at that point, their actions and reactions to circumstances are not rational.
Yes.
And they will do things in extreme forms. So we need to now go and start to address it in all its shapes and forms. And some men will probably say, yeah, I've been thinking that, I think I need help.
Yes.
But you need to normalize it and say, if you have had these thoughts of wanting to end somebody else's life, that's the same way we say, if you've had thoughts of wanting to end your life, say, if you're having thoughts of wanting to end somebody else's life because you feel aggrieved, please seek some help. And that's what we do at our clinic,
Yes.
Valentis
Yes.
Health. It's we're here in Nairobi, and what we've got is it's a service that has got different ways to contact doctors. You can contact us using text messages. You can contact us and just have a conversation on the phone, or you can come into the clinic and see someone. Now, we do all forms of wellness and health, but mental health is one of the biggest things. The number is 0705 110011, and it's all confidential. And, we have people who call in and don't want to give their names, and that's fine. We just need to be able to see how we can connect with people. So we hope we're starting a movement because we want a lot more people to do this. If you can start a movement, get more and more people involved doing it. We want the church to get involved. We want, the church programs to say, a pastor can refer someone in who they think, okay, this is teetering on something that could be a little bit more serious. I can refer them and then still get referred back to me for pastoral care, which is absolutely fine. But we need to create this circle of trust. And so for people to say, look, I have somebody who's got some, they're hearing voices. That's a psychotic disorder. Maybe I can refer them somewhere else. So that's what hopefully this conversation is going to be able to happen.